130 million children will be stripped of the right to an education simply because they were born a girl. It's a statistic that the charity So They Can is hoping to make a thing of the past.
The founder is Cassandra Treadwell, and she joins us now from New Zealand. Cassandra, great to have you on the show. This story we just saw is unfortunately just one of many. So what does the So They Can charity involve?
Well, thank you very much for having me. So They Can supports currently 45,000 children in their communities across Kenya and Tanzania. So we have 37 schools across those two countries and our Teachers College in Tanzania. And one of our key points of difference is our partnership with the governments. We work in the public school system. So we've created the first public-private partnership in education with the Kenyan and Tanzanian governments that ensures both sustainability and scale, which is essential to the work that we do. And really pleased to say that it is working. Our Teachers College is ranked #1 out of 79 public and private colleges, and our schools perform 20% better than other public schools.
Wow. The shocking reality is that more of these girls are likely to be married or sexually assaulted than attend school in some of these countries. You're a mother of 4 yourself. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, you're so right. It is a shocking reality. As an example, I mean, a few years ago, I had my children with me in Africa, and my then 12-year-old and 14-year-old daughters, Tess and Mia, they were chatting away with some of our girls, the same age as them, from our East Pokot community in Kenya. And I watched them thinking how incredibly similar they were in so many levels, their body language and the way that they laughed. But then my daughter Mia asked them whether they'd be going home from boarding school at the end of term, and without realising how shocking it would be, they just really matter-of-factly said, no, if we go home, we'll be sold or killed for disobeying our fathers and brothers. I know, and my children, while shocked, they just, as children do, they just got it. And later that night we were talking, and they said to me how they saw it that an uneducated girl is seen as the property of men to be sort of sold for their commercial gain, while an educated girl is seen as a person with human rights. And that is why education is at the core of what So They Can's work, and I think it needs to be resolved whether you're a parent or not.
And that's why these sort of charities that you've put up are so integral to assist that, because education is the key. You've helped so many women and children rebuild their lives. So once they've gone through the school system, they get their education. What does the future hold for them?
Well, this education, as you say, is incredibly crucial for them. It's for them, but also for us globally. As you said, 130 million girls are out of school, and 1 million of those live in sub-Saharan Africa. And it's forecast that there'll be 10 million more girls will never return to school as a result of poverty caused by COVID. And I love that David Attenborough, his recent documentary, I don't know if you've seen it, but it cites how educating girls to reduce population growth is one of his key 4 ways to save the planet. And Juliet Gillard speaks of this as well, how globally we have to educate girls to secure peace, security, climate change for all of us. So the future for these girls, well, I hope that there's so much for them. There's a beautiful African philosophy known as Ubuntu, and it's very deeply embedded in our values at So They Can. And Desmond Tutu defined it as our personal well-being being so deeply connected to the well-being of others. And that's why I think it's really is a connection thing for all of us globally. A quick story, at the end of last year, I spent the afternoon in East Pokot with a group of girls from one of our rescue schools. And one by one, they all told me their stories when they were cut, when they were sold. One girl stoically talked of being beaten so badly by her husband that she knew she would have to leave her 2 babies behind and run. And as she talked about her babies, she started crying very silently, and I kind of jumped up, the mother and me, to hug her, and she sort of leaned into that hug, but just for a minute, and then she pushed me away and she said, our stories need to be heard. And I know the future for these girls comes down to whether we here in the developed world acknowledge this sort of a Ubuntu connection. We're one human race. And when these girls suffer, we suffer. So
absolutely.
we have 85% of our girls in East Pokot are cut before they're 9 years old. And so I just thought it would be phenomenal if through your show this morning we all managed to sponsor, say, 85 of these girls.
Well, good on you for being a voice for these girls. And if you do want to support the So They Can charity, we'll share the details on our website as well. Cassandra, thank you so much for joining us, and take care.
Yeah, thank you both very much indeed. See you, David. Bye,
Our
Sylvia.
pleasure.